Hello, I'm Bruce Zimmerman, and this is the Open Line Garden Show podcast for this week.
Now, Blue Sky Nurseries is a local grower. He only distributes. He does not sell to the public, but he has a lot of great plant material for you to try. So what you're going to do is I'm going to give you a list of what's new for Blue Sky Nurseries, and you're going to have to go and search it out in your local garden centers in Ontario, Canada, wherever, okay? Because many of these plant material are actually hardy across Canada. And the first one is actually one of those ones that is. It's hardy to zone 2. It's amphora, and it's called lead plant. These have spikes of purple flowers with gold stamens. It is a native. It has compound gray-green leaves, blooms in midsummer to fall. It's 2 to 3 feet tall and 2 to 2.25 feet wide and only likes full sun. So that's great. I mean, here's an unusual plant that not everybody's got, and it's a native. And then there's azaleas. Now, these are deciduous azaleas, and there's a new one called Cannon's Double. Now, this deciduous azalea produces a mass of blooms that have multi-layered petals with stunning peach, pink, and cream petals. Right? Dark green foliage. And, of course, the foliage appears after the flowers. And the leaves turn a reddish purple in the fall. It's upright. It's columnar in its habit. Now, here's the thing about this guy. 6 feet tall, 4 feet wide, full sun, partial shade, and hardy to zone 5. But look at the color. Look at the size. Look at the overall. You're going to find that this one's going to stand out in your garden amongst others. But you're going to have to be able to put things with it to give you color through the whole season, since this is an early blooming before leaves come out plant material. So that's important as well. There's a new buddleia, and hopefully it's hardier than most, but it is hardy to zone 5. And the first one is the butterfly bush blue. Now, it's a true blue with tiny yellow centers, thick stems. It's a compact dwarf habit, which we like because so many people can get it into the garden because it is small. It blooms in early summer to fall. It's 2 feet tall and 2 feet wide. It loves full sun, and it's hardy to zone 5. And then there's the buddleia in the same group, the Pugster series. It's new, and it's a lavender purple. It's called Buddleia Pugster Amethyst. Now, this is a butterfly bush, and we know that butterfly bushes attract butterflies, and it is a good pollinator. Lavender purple, large flowers, dwarf compact plant, thick sturdy stems. It has improved winter survival. Blooms in early summer to fall, 2 feet tall, 2 feet wide, full sun. So it's definitely something you really want to take a look at, simply because of the extra hardiness and the color and the size of the flower and the plant make it really spectacular. The flowers are almost cone-shaped, almost like a panicle type of hydrangea, but not, of course, that big. Now, there are a few others, of course, that are new for this year. Let's go with Scotch Broom. Not very many people grow Scotch Broom, but when you see one, you go, oh, wow, that's cool. And it'll always catch you by surprise. The Scotch Broom is called Sister Disco. It's red and yellow bicolor flowers, because normally these guys are only yellow. It is a semi-dwarf habit. It weeps on wispy stems. It blooms in mid-spring. It's 1 to 3 feet tall and 1 to 3 feet wide. It loves the sun. It also needs a fairly decent soil, so make sure you do that. It's important. And then in the same group is Sisterhead. It's a Scotch Broom. Again, hardy to zone 5. But it is a bright red flower, and it looks like pea-shaped flowers, by the way. And they blooms themselves have yellow bases. So the wiry green stems, and they are tiny leaves and blooms in mid-spring, 3 to 4 feet tall, 3 to 4 feet wide, full sun, decent soil. Very important. And then the Scotch Broom called Sister Golden Hair. This one is the bright yellow flowers that are larger than other Scotch Brooms. That's always good. It has the weeping branches and blooms in mid-spring. It's 1 to 1.5 feet tall and 1 to 1.5 feet wide, full sun. And it's hardy to zone 5. And it is going to be a nice, spectacular, different looking plant in your garden. Now, Sister Rosie is another Scotch broom. Now, this broom is a dusty rose pink. So you can see you can have quite a range of color of brooms in your garden. The dusty rose pink pea-shaped flowers has green wiry stems covered in tiny leaves, typical. Blooms in mid-spring, but it's only 2 to 3 feet tall, 2 to 3 feet wide, full sun, zone 5, and we need to make sure that it has decent soil. So that is some of the ones in the brooms. Now, most people don't even know that broom is actually a plant, and it is the shape of the flowers in the pea puts it sort of in the same family. Now, there are some what I will call small multi-stand shrubby trees. And they have to be placed properly within your garden because eventually they'll get quite large. Now, what I would say is this. The Heptacodium is, the new one is called Temple of Bloom. Its common name is, or the first of these, is called Seven Sun Flower. This one, the Temple of Bloom, is fragrant, creamy white blooms in clusters of 7. Late summer, early fall is the bloom times. And the blooms are followed by red bracts. Bracts are sort of a modified leaf. And the bark is exfoliating, which means it peels, revealing a brown inner bark. The plant itself is fountain-shaped, multi-stemmed shrub, 6 to 10 feet tall and wide. It loves the full sun to part shade. It's hardy to zone 5. Place this one with care because of the size of it. Now, for a lot of people, the hibiscus syricus or rose of Sharon has sort of gotten boring. This one is, of course, a new one. It's called Sugar Tip Gold. It is a double purple flowered, variegated green leaves with cream gold edging. The blooms are in summer to fall. It's 4 to 5 feet tall and 4 to 5 feet wide. It's full sun. This one will stand out in your garden like a spotlight because of the variegated foliage, even when it's not in bloom. So it's one of those ones that you want to get. It's one of those ones you want to put in your garden and place it properly because of size, because that's very, very important. size matters when it comes to gardening because you don't want it to overcrowd some of the other plant material. Blue Sky is also going to be producing a Moppet Hydrangea. This one is called Onyx Zebra. Blooms emerge with a green highlights during a glowing white contrast with black stems, lush green foliage. The blooms in summer to fall. It's 4 feet tall, 3 feet wide, full sun, part shade, and it is hardy to zone 5. This one's going to be a little different to you simply because of the black stems to the white flowers, and I think you're going to like it, but you're going to be able to want to put it somewhere where you can enjoy the contrast of the black stems with the white flowers. I think that's important when you're placing plants within the shape, the size, the color, and of course, is it coarse textured, fine textured, etc. Hydrangea Diamond Rouge. Now, this one is a hydrangea. It is a panicle. It has long-lasting flowers on strong stems that start out white and then change to pink. Okay. To raspberry, so they go white, pink, raspberry, and finally to a rich red in the fall. That's interesting. Its compact habit, 4 to 5 feet tall and 3 to 4 feet wide. It gets pruned in late winter or early spring. That's to help you get it set up to do well in your garden. And it is hardy to zone 3. So it's one of those ones you can call reliable, particularly here in Ontario. Now, normally when we think of hollies, we think of the evergreen hollies. But there are, of course, deciduous hollies. And this one is Elix verticillata Mr. Poppins. It's a winter berry holly. It's a pollinator. It's white and has inconspicuous blooms on new wood in early spring. The foliage is a shiny green, compact, dense, deciduous, which means it drops its leaves in the winter. It's 3 to 4 feet tall and 3 to 4 feet wide, full sun, part shade, and it is hardy to zone 3. So it is a really good, tough one as well. Now, there is also, in the same group, berry heavy. I like that. That's cool. The white flowers in early spring are followed by branches loaded with bright red, shiny berries. It's upright in its habit, 6 to 8 feet tall, 6 to 8 feet wide, and it likes full sun and part shade. It does need a pollinator to produce, which means you'd probably plant Mr. Poppins with berry heavy. Cool. Now, even as a boy growing up, I knew Carya japonica. This Carya is known as golden guinea, and it is a Japanese rose. Now, Japanese rose just means it's a Carya. It's a single flower because there are doubles. There are variegated doubles in this group, but this one is a single flowered, 5-petaled yellow flowers with thick vein green leaves, 6 to 8 feet tall, 5 to 9 feet across, and it likes full sun to partial shade. It's hardy to zone 4. One of the things about this one is it's a great filler, so I would recommend it as well. You'll find where you got a corner that's sort of like a dead corner, put this one in, and of course it'll brighten it up because of the yellow blooms. And I always found that the yellow blooms last a very long time.
I'm Bruce Zimmerman. This is the Open Line Garden Show podcast for this week.